What's up, Wolfpack? My name is Paul, and you're watching Alpha Wolf Knife and Weapon Review. Well, it's been 1 week since we did our salt test on the Spyderco Dragonfly 2 Salt, and wow, that water looks really nasty. There is a ton of salt in there. Let me show you exactly how much salt. Put a bunch of table salt in there. As well as that entire thing of sea salt. Unbelievable. And that water is, whew. You can still see some of that sea salt. Put so much in there that it didn't all liquefy. But wow, I mean, that cheap Ozark trail knife is definitely getting some rust spots on it. You can see that. The button there is getting rust. It looks like the liner maybe is starting to rust. Spyderco forming some kind of black spot there. I don't know what that is. I think it's just residue from the water just kind of sitting there as sediment on the knife, because that's fiber reinforced nylon. I don't think anything on that could rust. That's not metal, so I think it's just sediment sitting on there. As for the other metal, I'm pretty sure one of the razor blades is rusting from what I saw in there. It's hard to tell with the rust sediment down there. Sitting on the sea salt. But the blade itself looks pretty good. There's no rust on that blade from what I can tell. Yeah, no rust on that blade. You have that one little spot that looks like it's just got sediment on it. But that's about it. Kind of interested to see what the other metal looks like. Before all that sediment sat down there, I could see at least one of those razor blades was kind of getting rusty. So yeah, let's take that out and see what they look like out of the salt water. Like I said, it's been 1 week, so there's definitely rust starting to form. And I mean, that water is so salty. I'm pretty sure if you drank that, it would kill you. Your blood pressure would shoot through the roof. You dehydrate pretty quick. All right, let's go check it out. Let's check it out, see what it looks like. All right, guys, now I'm gonna try to carefully pour this out into that container so we can see what we have here. Let's take a look. Extremely salty mixture. Okay, I think we got most of it. Put that aside. And let's see what we have left here. If we can get that salt off of there. That definitely looks like it got some rust. Screws don't look bad. Even the interior drywall screw doesn't look too rusty. Okay, let's lay it all out. See what we have here. Alright. Well, we'll start with the razor blades here. This razor blade definitely rusted. Get a good view of that. Yeah, it definitely rusted. The utility knife blade started to rust closer to the bottom there, but there's definitely rust on there. The single edge razor blade got some rust formation. Now, the zinc screw, wanted to show you what a brand new one looks like. See how it discolored? But it did not rust. Yeah. The zinc screw got a little discolored but didn't rust. That's a brand new one on the left. The construction screw, I'll show you. Same thing. Little discoloration. I believe that's probably zinc coated as well. That's probably why. Just a little discoloration. Three-inch exterior deck screw did get a little bit of rust formation. Just a slight bit. Here is a brand new one. No discoloration, but a slight bit of rust formation. The interior drywall screw didn't start to form rust yet, but I have seen these things rust in the past, so I know they are capable of it. Stainless steel washer, slight forms of rust starting on there. And the Ozark trail knife. Yeah, this broken knife. It looks like the rust started to form all on the insides there. Yeah, it looks like the rust all started to form all on the insides. I mean, that's a coated blade. I didn't expect that to rust right away. As for the edge, it didn't really start to rust yet. It doesn't mean it won't. But the rust really concentrated towards the internals there. I'm guessing there's some uncoated metal in there. And the flipper button started to rust a little. I mean, those liners in there didn't rust. Neither did the screws holding in the scales, but the internal towards the pivot there did rust quite a bit. Okay, and now what you've all been waiting for. The Spyderco Dragonfly 2. Actually looks like we had some formation, but that could just be sediment form right there. The pocket clip didn't rust. Pocket clip had some form of rust actually on the bottom. None of the scale screws rusted, but there's some form of rust right there. I'm gonna wipe that, see if it comes right off. As for the H1 blade, it does not look like it rusted, other than right there. Oh, little form right there of rust. Oh, we have a tiny bit of rust in there. So we did get a tiny bit of rust formed on this blade. That looks like the back lock rusted a slight bit. And a tiny bit right here started to form. I can wipe it right off though. Let's see if that wipes off as well. That will wipe off. It's just ever so slight amount. Again, these are corrosion resistant, not corrosion proof, guys. So we had a tiny bit of rust. The blade itself seems to be held up pretty well. Blade itself seems to have been held up very well. Yeah, most of that blade didn't rust. I see a tiny amount that started. Right on the edge there. I'll be giving this a nice full cleaning now, but barely any formed. But we did have some, so it's definitely not corrosion proof, guys. But it's extremely corrosion resistant. Now you gotta remember, this was an extreme test. Regular salt water is not gonna be that salty. That's probably 50 times more salt in that water than there is in the ocean. So, I mean, that's a crazy test to begin with. That accelerated it by probably 2 months. 2 to 3 months worth of that sitting in seawater compared to, you know, I'm just guessing, but I'm gonna say that's probably like 2 months worth of sitting in seawater as opposed to like 1 week in seawater at like 50 times less salt. But yeah, it was an interesting test. I'm gonna clean up that Dragonfly too in a little bit, but yeah, it was good to check it out and see what happened. The zinc coated metal definitely discolored, but it survived. That drywall screw surprisingly didn't rust. They are coated. If those are phosphate coated, so they last a little while, but I've definitely seen those outside on plywood and stuff that have rusted, so they will rust. But yeah, that Ozark trail knife was ruined from the get-go, so that wasn't surprising, but it formed a little bit of rust at the pivot. So yeah, it was good to see that, you know, the results on that. I thought for sure there was going to be no rust formation on the Spyderco Dragonfly 2 salt, but there was a slight bit. So it goes to show you it's not rust proof, guys. It's just rust resistant, extremely corrosion resistant. That doesn't mean some won't form. I mean, that's an incredibly harsh test, like incredibly harsh test. So you can't go by the fact that, you know, this extreme test, oh, it rusted a very small amount, oh, it's no good. No, it's still a great knife, guys. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that would have been like sitting in salt water for like 2 months. You know, that's not like, it's not going to be a deal breaker for me. That's for sure on that knife, on that steel, on that blade. It's pretty good. Maybe at some point I'll do the same test with a regular, you know, steel uncoated blade, but yeah, it would have to be a longer test because stainless steel is pretty corrosion resistant to begin with. Just about everything else that wasn't coated had some form of rust on it. So, and that was a great test. I had a lot of fun with that. You know, it sat in there for a week. I definitely expected a good amount of rust formation on a lot of that stuff. So, you know, let me know how you feel, guys. You know, did you expect that Spyderco to do a little better than it did? I think it did great. I really do. I'm gonna rinse it off now, completely take it apart, clean it, and try to get it to look brand new again. But no, it was a lot of fun. You know, let me know. Leave a comment, a like if you appreciated the work that went into this. And I will see you guys on the next one.